Iceland jails 26 corrupt banksters for 74 years for a combined, 74 years. That's a lot. So not 74 guys, but 26 banksters. So, in a story not really reported on by mainstream Western sources, Iceland sentenced another 5 high-level bankers to prison for directly contributing to the collapse of the country's economy in 2008. That brings the total to 26 bankers now behind bars in Iceland, with most of them being CEOs of large financial institutions rather than low-level traders. So most of those jailed will serve terms of 2 to 5 years, according to a report by Iceland Magazine, which we have the links to, which is a lengthier article, which notes that 3 executives at Landsbanken and 2 at Kaupbing, along with 1 prominent investor, have been prosecuted. Their crimes include, but of course aren't limited to, market manipulation, embezzlement, breach of fiduciary duties. Their market manipulation destroyed Iceland's economy, and to this day, it's still having to repay global loan sharks at the IMF, as well as other governments in other countries, which, of course, kept the nation going. The article explains from Iceland Magazine that the prosecutions have been possible because rather than protect and reward the very institutions responsible for the collapse and the gangsters that run them, the Icelandic government let them fail and then created a financial supervisory authority to strictly oversee the banks. Iceland's president, Olafur Ragnar Grimsson, noted, quote, "Why are the banks considered to be the holy churches of the modern economy? We were wise enough not to follow the traditional prevailing orthodoxies of the Western financial world in the last 30 years. We introduced currency controls, we let the banks fail, we provided support for the poor, and we didn't introduce austerity measures like you're seeing all around Europe." End quote from Iceland's president. Not one bankster in the U.S. has ever been charged with a crime relating to the financial collapse of '08 when it became publicly known. There's still virtually no regulation of the banks, and they are pulling a near record $160 billion in annual profits, all from, remember, money created out of thin air. So, James, we first reported on this development just over 3 years ago on this show in August 2012 that even the IMF was kind of admitting that Iceland was right. So this is further proof of that, James.
I think so, and I think it would be too simplistic to say that jailing the banksters is what has made the rebound in the Icelandic economy. I think there's a lot of things going on there, and I don't think we can directly compare the Icelandic economy to the American economy or things of that nature. But something we can directly compare is the response of the message that the Icelandic people have sent to their banksters versus the message that the American people and many other people in many other countries have sent to their banksters. In Iceland, the message is, if you do this kind of stuff, you are going to be personally held responsible and thrown in jail. And whereas in the American banking system, you do this kind of stuff, we're going to parachute money down from heaven on you and make sure that you get everything you need and you're never going to go to jail. I think I know which one fosters a greater sense of rule of law and the sense of people who will actually, potentially respect those laws and respect the people that they're supposedly serving with their banking services, their customers, right? Can you even imagine a system in America or Japan or Canada or anywhere else that actually has a system that thinks of their customers as the people they are serving with their services? Of course not, because banks are there to rip you off, and we all know that, and that's precisely because they continue to get away with it. So say whatever else you want about Iceland and what it's doing, but the fact that they've jailed the banksters is a long step towards actually putting the banksters in their place in more ways than one.
And I think once they start to charge you for having money here in the States in the banks, once they start to roll that out, which it's already coming, I think we'll really, and that'll be really good news next week, is when we start to see people go, oh, I quit all my banks. They gave me nothing, and I left them, and I'll enjoy watching them crumble. So